Romanian and Ukrainian church chant traditions, points of interaction. Let's start with a well-known fact in musicology that in 1558, Moldavian voivode John Alexander Lepușneanu invited 4 deacons from Lviv to study Greek and Serbian chant. Alexander Lepușneanu was a generous patron of the Orthodox Church, including in the Ukrainian lands. In 1558, the Lviv Assumption Church Fraternity sent ambassadors to him with the request to help rebuild the Church of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin, which had burned in 1527. The Moldavian voivode didn't refuse and became its patron. That church was named Wallachian Church because of this. In a letter of the same year, addressed to Lviv burghers, Voivode Alexander invited 4 deacons from Lviv to study Greek and Serbian chant and informed the deacons from Przemyśl had already arrived. Given the fact that the Putna monastery was the musical center of Moldavia in the 16th century, and Pennington, famous researcher of the Putna Musical School, rightly believed that the Moldavian voivode Alexander invited the young deacons from Lviv to Putna. Analyzing the voivode's correspondence of the next decade, and Pennington concluded that the expected invigorating effect which 4 trained deacons were supposed to have upon returning to Lviv didn't materialize. Moreover, she even suggested that this project was not implemented at all. Our research refutes Pennington's conclusions and proves that the effect of Romanian and Ukrainian musical contacts initiated by Voivode Alexander was extremely expressive, significant, and long-lasting. The connection between the Romanian and Ukrainian chant traditions of the 16th and 17th century seems very logical given the territorial proximity of the Romanian and Ukrainian lands and their belonging to a common Christian cultural space. This assumption is supported by the political, economic, and ecclesiastical contacts established between the neighboring peoples of the time. At the same time, it's not easy to prove this connection at the level of chant repertoires. Firstly, the comparative analysis of chant repertoires is complicated by the use of different musical notations. Bilingual Greek Slavonic musical manuscripts of the 16th century Putna music school were written in Middle Byzantine notation. In the Ukrainian and Belarusian lands, the pneumatic znamena notation was used in the 16th century. The Kiev square staff notation emerged and gradually replaced the znamena semiography at the turn of the 16th and 17th centuries. Middle Byzantine notation was not used in the Ukrainian and Belarusian musical manuscripts. On the slide, on the left, we can see a manuscript sheet of the mid-16th century, written in znamena notation. We see 3 Greek chants: Trisagion with the remark Holy God, Greek Holy God. Святый Боже, греческий. Alleluia. This is Alleluia. And the beginning of the cherubic song with the note Greek cherubic song. This is cherubic, Greek.
I'm sorry.
And with the intonational formula neanes.
Excuse me.
Neanes. And then Ita cherubim, mystikos. Unfortunately, it's still impossible to reliably decipher them. This manuscript also contains the Greek text of the liturgy of St. John Chrysostom, transcribed in Cyrillic. On the right, we can see a sheet from the Supras Irmoloion of the late 16th century. The same century, it's middle 16th century, the end, the late 16th century. written in Kiev staff notation. We see the famous Constantinople cherubic song with the note Constantinople, Tsarigradsky. Cherubic song we don't have, only Tsarigradsky, but we understand that it's cherubic Tsarigradsky. Of the third mode, Голосу третьего, translated into the Ruthenian language from the patriarch's chant probably in 1583, because this inscription we can see clearly that in 1583, because it's the manuscript of the late 16th century, so maybe. But we have here a question, because as a result of paleological analysis that was made, we know that Greek chants were written down later in this manuscript. Later, starting from the second half of 17th century. So we can suppose that it's maybe not 15, but 1683. It's also possible, because during 100 and more years, some Greek chants were added to this manuscript. So it's a question. But all researchers believe that it's 1583. September 8th of September, and very beautiful. This hieroglyph is very beautiful. The second reason that complicates comparative analysis of the manuscripts is that Ukrainian chant repertoire, the roots of which go back to the chant tradition of the Kievan Rus, is almost 100% anonymous. Really, we have from 17th and 18th century, we have the number of manuscripts is more than 100, 1,100 and more than 1,000. And in this 1,000 manuscripts, we have only 5 names. And we are not sure that all 5 names are composers, because it can be bishop, which wanted to have this manuscript, and someone made this copy. So it's really anonymous tradition. The names of composers were usually not indicated in Ukrainian musical manuscripts. In the 16th and 17th century, new chant appeared in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts, and again, not with the names of composers, but with the toponymic remarks indicating their foreign origin: Bulgarian, Greek, Serbian, Wallachian, Maltanian, etc. For instance, the remark Wallachian, Voloskaya. We see this remark here. Voloskaya. Accompanies the Greek language axion estin. We see this axion, estin, os, alithos, with Cyrillic alphabet in the Manyava manuscripts. This Manyava manuscript is stored in Romania, in Bucharest. This chant is found in other Ukrainian manuscripts without indicating its origin. But in the earlier manuscript of the 1640s, from the Kiev monastery, the same work was recorded under the rubric Axion Estin, Greek Axion Estin. The note Wallachian obviously testifies to the strong musical contacts of the Manyava Great Skit with the Romanian monasteries. Now, I'd like to remind you that Moldavian voivode Alexander invited 4 deacons from Lviv to study Greek and Serbian chant. Not Wallachian, not Maltanian, not Bulgarian, but Greek. Chants accompanied with the remark Greek, or in Greek, po-gretsku, appeared in the Ukrainian and Belarusian church chant manuscripts called Irmoloya Irmoloya in the Ukrainian and Belarusian chant tradition is a multi-genre collection of church chants for liturgical year. It covered all liturgical year. So, in the 16th and 17th century, chant with the remark Greek appeared and kept in the liturgical repertoire until the late 18th century. We see this example. Хвалите. Хвалите is the first word, praise the God, enite on Kievan. Хвалите, and we греческое. And we see the transliteration enite about Ukrainian reduction that you asked, because it would be Russian. Russian said enete, because according to the Russian pronunciation, it would be ye. But
Sorry, can you hear me?
enite. And it's exactly as we must pronounce enite Hungarian. So this also very nice evidence about pronunciation, because how chanters wrote the Greek languages, we can understand how we read Church Slavonic in 17th century. Because of this, it's not enete, it's enite Hungarian. Not only remark, but also Greek verbal text transcribed in Cyrillic alphabet evidence the eastern origin of this chant. Cyrillic transcription of Greek texts, typical for the Ukrainian and Belarusian musical manuscripts of the late 16th and 17th and 18th centuries, indicates that scribes and singers couldn't write and accordingly read Greek. Despite this, they didn't replace the Greek text with its Church Slavonic translation. The chanting in Greek demonstrated their belonging to the Byzantine religious and cultural heritage. The question that arises is why the Ukrainian singers wanted to demonstrate their belonging to the Byzantine religious and cultural heritage. The years from 1570 until 1630 were difficult in the Ukrainian history. It was a period of religious struggle. In the 16th century, ethnic Ukrainian lands were part of different states. In particular, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Kingdom of Poland. In 1568, Poland and Lithuania united into the federal state Rzeczpospolita, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Poland was a Catholic state, while the Ukrainians at that time had an Orthodox metropolitanate in Kiev, subordinated to the ecumenical patriarchate of Constantinople, not to the Russian patriarchate, but ecumenical of Constantinople. The king of Poland, Sigismund Vasa, you can see him on the slide, and his government came up with the idea of uniting the Catholic and Orthodox churches. This idea was supported by Kiev Metropolitan Mikhailo Rogoza and most of his bishops who wanted to consolidate their rights in the Catholic state. Thus, the attack of the Roman Catholics ended with the proclamation of the United Greek Catholic Church in Brest in 1596. 1596 in Brest was established Greek Catholic Church. After the church union, the question of religious self-identification became relevant for every Ukrainian. Most of the Ukrainians' magnates became Roman Catholics or accepted the new Greek Catholic Church, while the burghers and peasants remained faithful to Orthodoxy. The church union provoked a religious war. With the creation of the Greek Catholic Church, the Orthodox officially lost their metropolitan and hierarchs because they accepted the union. The Patriarch of Jerusalem, Theophanes, returning from Moscow in 1620, was living in Kiev for almost a year. And it's significant to know that he was living with the choir from Jerusalem. Having credentials from 3 Eastern Patriarchs, Timothy Marmarinos of Constantinople, Kirill Lucaris of Alexandria, and Athanasios Dabas of Antioch, he restored the Orthodox hierarchy in the Ukrainian and Belarusian lands of Rzeczpospolita, which Roman Catholics and Greek Catholics regarded as illegitimate. The recognition of 3 churches, Orthodox, Roman Catholic, and Greek Catholic, took place only in 1633. And it was when Metropolitan of Kiev was Petromovil. The difficult religious and political circumstances of that time led to the consolidation of the Ukrainian people. In Ukrainian historical science, the last quarter of the 16th, the first half of the 17th century is called the period of Ukrainian national and cultural renaissance. The Greek-Byzantine trend played an important role in it. The Orthodox in the Ukrainian and Belarusian lands of Rzeczpospolita turned to the Byzantine religious and cultural heritage as a source of their national religious and cultural identity. Constant contacts with East Greek church hierarchy, foundation of Stavropygial church fraternities, development of Hellenistic studies, and appearance of Greek church chants in monasteries and parish churches testify to the importance of the Greek-Byzantine influence. The preservation of the Greek text in chants in the conditions of the religious war also had political meaning. Language served as a confessional indicator. Slavic and Greek referred to the Orthodox, Latin and Polish to the Catholics and Greek Catholics. Discussions about the advantages of these languages accompanies religious disputes. The tension that existed at that time in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth around the language issue was evidenced by the episode with the school of the Kiev-Pechersk Lavra, founded in 1631 by Petromovila, the first Orthodox Metropolitan of Kiev. As soon as classes began, the people rose up against the teachers. Rumors spread among the Kievans that teachers were not Orthodox but Greek Catholics. One of the reasons for such speculation was the fact that they taught Latin and Polish in school. The anger of people in Kiev was so strong that the teachers confessed before their death, expecting that the stomachs of the Dnieper sturgeons would be stuffed with their bodies. The people believed that the study of Latin science led to apostasy of Orthodoxy. Knowledge of Greek was respected, whereas Latin looked suspicious. So, in this context, the Greek chants appeared in Ukrainian manuscripts. So it was not by chance, of course. Greek chants were not collected in the separate books in the Ukrainian and Belarusian chant tradition. The manuscript with the traditional Slavonic repertoire contains the additional Greek chants. Not all manuscripts, about 10% of Ukrainian manuscripts, of thousands of Ukrainian manuscripts, had additional Greek chants. Altogether, about 100 manuscripts. Most of these manuscripts have only 1, 2, sometimes 3 Greek compositions. Trisagion, Cherubic hymn, and Axionestin are the most common. However, there are few manuscripts with a dozen and more Greek chants. There are chant collections of the monasteries in Supras, Puteino, Piu-Mazhigiria, Univ, Lavriv, and Manyava. Until recently, the question of whether chants with the remark Greek are really Greek remained without answer, as they are all anonymous. And all chants are anonymous, we said about it. As a result of our comparative study of Ukrainian, Belarusian, and Greek Byzantine manuscripts, we have attributed a significant number of Greek chants, in particular the colophonic works of Byzantine composers of the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries, such as Ioannis Glikis, Ioannis Kladas, Manuel Chrysafis, Anthimos Lavriotis, and others. You can see some extract of these attributed chants on the slide. Attribution of Greek chants proved their Eastern origin and the fact of borrowing. The question that arises is how and where Ukrainian singers mastered Greek Byzantine chants at the time. It's logical to assume that the Greek repertoire appeared thanks to Ukrainian and Romanian contacts, since the Romanian chant tradition is based on the Byzantine one. The works of Greek Byzantine composers make up most of the repertoire of the 16th century manuscripts of the Putna music school. 13 of them have been found to date. You can see them on the slide. The attribution of Greek chants shows that Ukrainian and Belarusian singers preferred the works of the early Byzantine composers rather than their contemporaries, because the Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts of the late 16th, 17th, and 18th century include the works of Byzantine composers of the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries. On the one hand, this fact proves their long-term popularity in the Greek East and in the territories under Byzantine influence, cultural influence. On the other hand, it is a marker of a certain liturgical and stylistic selection, since there are colophonic compositions of the divine liturgies, which are the most important from the liturgical point of view and the most difficult from the musical point of view. What was the reason for it? The colophonic style of Byzantine church chant was formed in the era of Paleologian Renaissance under the influence of the hesychasm theology. It can be expected that the genetic connection between colophonic chant and hesychasm was preserved when Byzantine colophonic works enriched the Ukrainian and Belarusian church repertoire. Indeed, the Ukrainian historians noted the significant role of hesychasm in the development of Ukrainian spiritual culture of the 16th and 17th centuries. The influence of the hesychasm's ideas is traced in works and activities of Saint Ivan Vyshinsky, Saint Yevgeniya Ignatenko, Saint John Pochaevsky-Железо, and many others. Yevgeniya Ignatenko founded the famous Manyava monastery or Galician Great Skit, Skite cel Mare. Its musical manuscripts contain the richest collection of Greek colophonic chants. Manyava's first abbot, Theodosius, began his spiritual life at Putna monastery. We learn about it from the Vita of Saint Yevgeniya Ignatenko, written by monk Ignatius from Lubartov. Quotation: Hierodeacon Theodosius, who became a monk in the Moldavian land in the holy Theotokos monastery named Putna, had come to Manyava. Saint Theodosius introduced Bulgarian chant in the Great Skit and was also a composer. The note of Theodosius accompanies the Alleluia of the third mode in the Manyava manuscript of 1684. We see here inscription Glas III, Theodosia. And you understand, we have only 5 names in 1,000 manuscripts, so it's very, very important event to have this inscription Theodosia in Manyava manuscript, because Theodosius was treated as a monk and first abbot who introduced Bulgarian chant, because it was written in the Vita of Ignatenko, not Greek chant, but Bulgarian chant. So, the Bulgarian musicologist Elena Toncheva suggested that Manyava's first abbot Theodosius may have been the Moldavian church composer Theodosia Zotica. This hypothesis is based on the facts that they both were composers of Slavic origin who lived at about the same time, and nothing more, but it's important to know. As we have already noted, the works of Byzantine composers make up most of the repertoire recorded in the 16th century manuscripts of the Putna music school. However, this majority is a rather limited part of the compositions presented in the Greek Byzantine manuscripts. This is understandable because we have only 13 manuscripts of the Putna music school and thousands of Greek Byzantine manuscripts. So the colophonic Byzantine repertoire, which was cultivated in Romanian monasteries in the 16th century, was also formed as a result of a certain liturgical and stylistic selection. Our comparative study showed that all attributed colophonic Greek chants from the Ukrainian and Belarusian Ermoloya are found in the 16th century manuscripts of the Putna music school. So this small selected part of Byzantine repertoire that was preserved in Moldavian manuscript, exactly the same repertoire was transmitted to Ukrainian lands and was written down with Kievan notation. I think that it's very, very important fact that really proved that connections, musical connections were so strong that this borrowed repertoire really was formed in our lands thanks to our contacts with Romanian monasteries. Because from this small extract of repertoire, we have the same pieces written down in different notations. What else we can find to prove this connection? Really it was. In the process of working with the Greek repertoire, we also found out that the Greek language cherubic song of the plagal of the first mode of the outstanding Romanian composer Evgeniya, the proto-psaltis of Putna, was recorded in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts as anonymous piece. As other pieces, of course, it was anonymous. Evgeniya's work was included in the cycle of colophonic cherubic songs, along with the works of Ioannis Glikis, Manuel Chrysatis, and Anthimos Lavriotis. So we can see at the slide, this is the manuscript of Putna Musical School, and we see Evgeniya, monarch, two monachu Evgeniya, and the indication of ichos, pliers, proto. And here we see this work started here. It's Supras monastery. It's also in Manyava manuscripts, but I took the Supras because it's earlier manuscript.
They had this translated in the documentation.
Yes. I will show, and at our workshop we will work, we'll compare, and you really will see that it's exactly the same work. But the problem is that, of course, it's without the name and without any description. Evgeniya's work was our research has shown that they studied Greek colophonic repertoire as well as the Greek language cherubic song of Evgeniya. The proto-psaltis of Putna were written down in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts as early as the beginning of the 17th century. Why I say beginning? Because, as I said before, Greek chants were written down in Supras monastery later, because Supras manuscript is of the late 16th century. But Greek chants were written in the first half of 17th. So, undoubtedly, this fact allows us to talk about the direct and subsequent connection between the Romanian and Ukrainian chant traditions. At the same time, there are significant differences between them. Greek repertoire was recorded in Middle Byzantine notation in Romanian manuscripts and in 5-line Kievan notation in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts. comparative study of the attributed Greek chants notated with Middle Byzantine, new methods, and Kiev staff notations showed that the Middle Byzantine notation was decoded by the 5-line Kievan. The deciphered works of Byzantine composers are their exegesis, their performance realization. So the colophonic repertoire was recorded in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts as it sounded, and we have valuable historical evidence of how these works sounded. The attributed Greek language chants from the Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts have the following features of their mode organization. Firstly, the Byzantine notion ichos was replaced by the Slavonic notion glas. We never see ichos. This inscription we see only in the manuscript, Slavonic manuscript, that was created in the Brotherhood of PSALT Tchaikovsky. We can see ichos, but it was written by Ukrainian monk Kalistra, but it was written here in Moldova. So it's half our tradition and half yours. Mixed one. But in our tradition, we have no inscription ichos. I've never seen.
So in the manuscript from Nance monastery, you said that they use this term of ichos
in Ukraine? Yes. Second, mode definitions are often absent. And as you understand, it's impossible in manuscript, in Byzantine manuscript, not to have inscription of ichos, because how you can start singing? But in Ukrainian manuscripts, it's very often that description of ichos is just absent. Third, there are discrepancies in the mode definition of the same work recorded in different manuscripts, because we see this previous Yevgeniya work, we see the inscription glas vita, so to defteru, glas drugi. But in Manava manuscript, we have work of Yevgeniya written down also in third glas, in second and third. So maybe it was really Ktaikos. In every glas, it could be some, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry. So there in the suprasal etymology, it's written glass, perfectly or second? Second.
Because it's B, it's vita.
Dogma is first.
Pliers are first.
Pliers to proto.
Pliers to proto. You know, it's for me, it's still enigma. Why they have this? Why it was written as a second? And I was thinking different theories. You know, maybe according to the Gregorian system, we have first, and then second is pliers to proto. Maybe, but I don't know. And second, I searched this Hierophon of Yevgeniya, and I found out that it has immediately after the beginning it has Thora Nenano. But Thora Nenano, it could be written in second. So maybe we can find explanations. Because maybe they didn't see the manuscript that it plies to proto, but after sounding, they wrote that it's nenano, okay, it can be second.
But the general melodic line is the same in the manuscript of PSALT and
Exegesis.
I mean
the same.
The second mode and the third mode. They go up and down the same way. The melody.
The melody is
the same.
The same. Melody is the same.
You go past the intervals if they are standing down. And the second and the third mode are both defined in the
not in suppression, in Manava. In Manava.
Two glass versions. Or just one, or only the third.
two glass versions we have only in Manava manuscripts. But today we believe that we have three Manava manuscripts. I believe that there are more, and I will show why I believe that there are more. But till today we believe that there are three Manava manuscripts of 1675, of 1684, and of 1733. Yes, there are all
Three.
three.
There is another one.
Not one, yes. I saw another three. Another three.
You believe that belongs
Yes,
also?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So in these three Manava manuscripts, there are two versions of Yevgeniya work in second and third modes. Yes. And so the second feature of mode organization that we see in Ukrainian Yermoloya, that indications of the mode offered in the Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts are often erroneous compared to the original definition of the work's mode, as we say. In Greek, Byzantine, and Romanian manuscripts, there are no chants without mode definition. Discrepancies in the mode definition of the same work recorded in different manuscripts, of course, occur in Byzantine tradition. It can be of second or pliers of second. It can be the same work. Also, not so often and as we see in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts. But most indications of the studied works offered in manuscripts of the Putna music school are the same as in Greek Byzantine manuscripts. I mean, the works of Chrysafis, Manuel Chrysafis, of Ioannis Kladas, of Ioannis Likis. Therefore, the Byzantine modes were reinterpreted by Ukrainian and Belarusian singers. This is a special feature of the Ukrainian and Belarusian reception and adaptation of the Greek Byzantine chant, in my opinion, of course. Now, our next observation concerns the composer's attribution of the studied works. As we have already said, in the Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts, the names of composers were not indicated. In manuscripts of the Putna music school, the names of composers were indicated, but not always. For instance, in many manuscripts, the communion chant of the third mode is Mnemosinon Aeonion of Manuel Chrysafis, and the communion chant of the first mode, Patyrion Soteriou of Ioannis Kladas, became anonymous because we can't find names in manuscripts of Putna musical school. Some names were found by Konomos. He found out and attributed these works. So the names of composers began to disappear in manuscripts of the Putna music school. And in Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts, all Greek borrowed works became anonymous. No names in Ukrainian manuscripts. The method of adopting the Greek repertoire in the Romanian and Ukrainian lands are similar. For instance, the Sunday communion of the second mode, Enita Tongirion of Joachim Harsianitis, was recorded in the anthology of the Putna Music School of 1545 as anonymous work and with two texts. You can see it on slide, that it has two texts in red and black, Church Slavonic and Greek. The Church Slavonic text adopted to the chant was not a translation of the Greek one. Discrepancy of verbal text is a specific feature of bilingual chants recorded in manuscripts of Putna school music. Examples of such a practice were found also in the Ukrainian Manava manuscripts. For instance, the 30-day communion verse in Church Slavonic Блаженный яже избра was ascribed under the Greek text of the Manuel Chrysafis' Sunday Communion, Enita Tongirion, in the Manava Yermoloyan of 1684. To conclude, the common Greek repertoire of Romanian and Ukrainian and Belarusian manuscripts, as well as the work of Yevstatia recorded in Ukrainian and Belarusian Yermoloya, testify to the direct connection of Romanian and Ukrainian church chant traditions and prove that the Putna music school, which flourished in the 16th century, became an intermediary in the involvement of Ukrainian singers in the Greek Byzantine chant tradition, and had a powerful influence on the development and renewal of Ukrainian and Belarusian church chant in the late 16th and 17th centuries. Therefore, the effect of Romanian and Ukrainian musical contacts initiated by Moldavian voivode John Alexander Lepușneanu in the mid-16th century was extremely expressive, significant, and long-lasting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was very exciting. I believe it would be fit now for a session of Q&A. If anyone of us has a question to put to Professor Yevgeniya Ignatenko.
Actually, I got a few more. First of all, when you listed the manuscript with us, I noticed that there were 3 manuscripts which reside in Moscow. Romanian school know about one of them. And I remember a friend from Russia asked me the number of the manuscript, searched for it, and he told me that the description is not accurate, but he found the manuscript under another number. So my question is, are you sure that there are 3 different manuscripts, or maybe it could be that there are 2 numbers referring to the same manuscripts? Yeah.
I don't search this question. Thank you very much. I don't know, maybe different.
And you got the information from
About which manuscripts?
the 3 from Moscow.
3 from Moscow of Putna Music School. No, I took this information from Romanian musicologists, from Maria Alexandru, from and the latest researches, as I remember, was researches of Gabriela Ocneanu and of Maria Alexandru, and the latest manuscript that was discovered, it was discovery of Moiseiva, as I remember.
Sorry?
It was a discovery of Moiseiva, and it was now it is stored in Moscow. Maybe we can return to this picture.
The list.
The list, of course.
What is
What do you mean?
last discovery?
The last discovery. So we have manuscript. This is anthology, the most famous, the first manuscript, the most famous. It was facsimile edition, just was made in Putna. So now we have also this manuscript is known late before, many years ago. And this is the earliest anthology that is stored in Putna monastery, Putna 56. But it consists of 2 parts. This part of 1520, and it has also the earliest fragment of the first half of 15th century, and it contains the works, of course, of Byzantine composers and some works of Serbian composers, as I remember. So it's 2 parts of now it's 1 book, but it's clearly that the second part, it was added, but it's the earliest fragment. You know it. Then it's in Greece, in Limonos monastery. And as I remember, it was also it was made by facsimile in Serie Historia Monumenta. Yes, because I saw it as facsimile. Yes, I don't remember the volume, but I saw it as facsimile, so it's known. And this one, it was, as I remember, it was discovered not long ago. And from Yash, we have anthology. And then I don't remember which one was newly discovered, or this one, 1109, or this one, 1345, but it was discovered by Moiseva or Yeliseva. I'm not ready to answer, but it's from new discoveries. And this we have Dragomirna in Dragomirna monastery. One manuscript is stopped, and we have these two manuscripts that were published also as facsimile, some of them. And Moisescu searched it very deeply. It is Bar. Bar is from Romanian and Ukrainian in Bucharest. And then we have in Sofia, in Bulgaria, one manuscript in Bulgaria. In Sofia in Bulgaria. Then we have in Leipzig. And from new discoveries, we have in Lviv, in Ukrainian Lviv. We have also one manuscript of Putna musical school. I also saw it, and it's very nice. That's all.
There are also some leaves in the manuscript in Prague.
Yes, this in Prague. This is from this manuscript in Sofia. Some manuscript you see it in Prague. Some yes, you see, but it belongs to this manuscript that is stored in Bulgaria.
And there is also something which is somehow dubious under the hotel monastery, and also on the visiting chant Jacob 15 years ago, that he found a manuscript that is Kievan. And I talked to Daniel Suchava, who was a very serious scientist. How we know about this manuscript. But
No, I
at the
haven't.
moment, I haven't seen anything published on that.
We also I haven't.
The monk sometimes potential in his.
Yes,
No, I haven't seen, and in current researches, I haven't read about this manuscript.
She announced it over on the Yahoo Byzantine website. That was the way he published.
Maybe it would be nice. It would be nice to have another manuscript from Putna.
And another question would be about the pieces which are found in more than one Kievan manuscript. For example, Maniapa and Suprashi, there are some pieces which are to be called in all the manuscripts. The old and the new one in the 16th century, in the 17th century.
Oh no. No, what do you mean the oldest?
I wonder if there is a piece could be found in different manuscripts in a little bit different ways, or they are more or less the same. And I think more particularly if there could be the same piece could be found in a short exegesis and in long exegesis.
Oh, you know, the Byzantine tradition is very stable. So, of course, I saw maybe different, but it's still manuscript tradition. So, handwritten tradition. So, of course, we can't find two manuscripts which are absolutely the same. There are some differences because we can see different megalis hypostases, we can see different signs, hieronomical different signs. But usually, if you want to find different exegesis, no, it's not, because maybe For instance, I worked with the piece of Manuel Chrysafis, and I found, of course, this piece in his autograph. And then in many manuscripts till the 19th century, till the change of notation to the new method. And I understood that the version of Manuel Chrysafis a little bit slightly different from the version that we have in tradition. So we can find differences, but it's not about exegesis. It's maybe some different version of melodies, of melodical lines, but it's not exegesis. We can't find the short and extended variant. No, it's about the same. We can find differences in the use of signs, or for instance, some slight differences in melodic tones, but no more.
I'm asking about the stateful notation in Ukrainian.
In Ukrainian manuscript, it's also very stable, but I think that it's still exegesis, because we will see if I invited you to our workshops and we can discuss it when we see the manuscript and how it was written down. Because, of course, we can say that it's and in my opinion, it's exegesis, of course, but as we see from the point of view, the development of notation, we can say that it was written down not so detailed as we have in the exegesis of Hormuzius artifacts, not so detailed, but I believe that it's still exegesis. For instance, on this slide, we see this is of Hormuzius. And this is of Manuel Chrysafis. We have only and nothing. But in Ukrainian, we have a more detailed version, which is very similar to the Hormuzius, because, for instance, we have one note above the original, and also one note has one note above has Hormuzius. But you see that the version of Hormuzius is still more detailed. But I believe that it's every notation has progress from and this progress is very often we see that it's from for instance, European notation. We have progress from for instance, in the Renaissance and Baroque music, we have the score of piece, and we have the possible variants of instrumentation. We have not exact exact score for orchestra. So we have the freedom to make this orchestra version. So, but if we take the work of modern composer, do we have such possibility? No, we don't have, because we know that at this measure we must start with piano and go to mezzo piano. It's incredible in one measure. So the level of detailization in European notation always is increasing, because the musicians, it's a big trend of modern musicology. The musician must find out how to deal with the Baroque music, because the level of detailization of notation is very it's more a modest level of detailization. compared to the level that we have now. And so I believe that in this case, we see the same, because we see that it's the same piece. This version is, it's only skeleton. The version of Hormuzios is enough detailed version, enough extended, not extended, but detailed version of notation. And in Ukrainian manuscript, we can understand that it's exactly the same work, but it's in the middle between this level of detailization of notation and of Hormuzios. If you agree.
I agree totally to what you said. But I'm wondering only if the duration, the number of beats per syllable. If it is a California chant, it's complicated to judge.
Yes, it's complicated. You're right. You're exactly right. But if we count and if we believe, for instance, that we have the same, because here we can count with quarter. And with the quarter, it became almost the same with the Hormuzios. So we can believe that it's, we have this idea to believe that the quarter in Hormuzios is the half in Ukrainian manuscripts. But I don't agree with this. I believe that it's not so detailed as Hormuzios has, but we can count with the same notes, because at some points of works, the level of detailization is quite high. Because at some point, it's only first 4 measures. We can't understand. But we will work at our meetings, and you will see that in Ukrainian manuscript we have not only halves and quarters. We have quarters and we have semi-quarters also. So why? Yes. So why we can't say that the measure is the main measure is quarter? Why? We can. But of course, it's a question. It's we can search in this direction. But I believe that we can say that it's the same, but only level of detailization is different. But you can have your opinion, of course, you can discuss it.
And maybe a little bit off-topic question. Do you think that Putna school would be particularly connected with some Bulgarian school, tonal? So
Yes, I believe. I believe because you see, I said in my presentation that Theodosius, who started at Putna monastery as a monk, and then became the first abbot in Manava. In manuscripts, he was named as the man who introduced Bulgarian chant, but he started in Putna. Why Bulgarian chant? And we have in Putna manuscripts. Now I'm not ready to say in details, but we have some. We have all in Putna manuscript. We have Serbian composers, Serbian, Greeks, and Moldavian as Vlach, as Theodosia Exotica.
yeah, one of them is really Moldavian, and the other one they are unknown. We don't have any particular.
But I believe that it's connected because we will talk about it at our meetings. Because, for instance, Elena Toncheva, she found the similarity of Evstatia work Troparia Anastasima of the first mode we will work with this piece if you want. It's similar with the version from Ukrainian manuscripts. But in Ukrainian manuscripts, of course, we have no inscription of Yevstati because there are no inscriptions as usual. But instead of the name of Yevstati, there is inscription that it's of Bulgarian chant. Of course, we can say that the reduction of Czech Slavonic language was Medio-Bulgarian. Maybe that's why we have this Bulgarian chant, but who knows? It's not Bulgarian redaction, but Bulgarian chant. So who knows? And I have another different evidences that, of course, it's connected. Putna Music School connected very strongly with Serbian tradition and with Bulgarian, and with our tradition as we see now. So it was very, the Byzantine musical world, very extended.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wanted also to ask you a couple of questions, if the time allows us. First of all, is there a way to notate the chromaticism in the Kievan scores? For example, the second B-pulse or the level of the second.
No, we have no. In Ukrainian tradition, the signs of alteration, we have only bemol,
Flat, yes.
flat, and we have bekar, and nothing more. And till now, we are not sure how it was treated, this bemol and bekar. But of course, for instance, we see this example that in our manuscript, for instance, here we had bemol, flat. Look at this. It's a flat. But if we know that this piece of Chrysafis, it's of the first mode, tak? Ichos protos. Hormuzius, at this moment, okay, you know, we have this flat, but it's not a sign of alteration. So we can understand how it was treated, because in this case, it's not an alteration, it's just si bemol, it's just B.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have no. But I also was thinking a lot about this question, why we don't have this specification. But for instance, in Byzantine manuscripts, we also has no very clear picture of how it was used. In Byzantine manuscript, we have no. And for instance, I see that maybe we want this detailization about mode organization. But if from the perspective of development of this system, it's also as with the notation. In Baroque epoch, notation was not has no so details as we want now. Also with the alteration. In Byzantine manuscript, we have many enigmas about this, about Sores, about because we can't understand how it works. So I think that also the level of notation, it was not so detailed as we have now, and so we have this problem. But it's our problem, because I think that
They know how to think it.
yes, they didn't have problem because this, for instance, this Greek repertoire was in use in the Ukrainian lands for 200 years. If they were, they didn't know how to sing according to this Kievan staff notation, they couldn't use it for 200 years. So I think it's our problem. But of course, we can know this science as these signs are not clear in Byzantine manuscripts. Because, you know, we want to see in Ukrainian 17th century manuscript something like in Hormuzzius, but it's impossible. we want this distalization. We want, but okay, it was not an issue for the singers at that time.
So thank you very much for your answer. My second question is this. You clearly established the fact that there were strong connections between Putna monastery and the Ukrainian lands. I'm asking you because I saw in some Ukrainian, not Ukrainian, Kievan notation manuscripts, some we call them Romanian velichanie or pripele. It's a type of chant, you know what I'm talking about, but we are saying that a counselor of Tchaikovsky, I'm not mistaken, you know, they wrote them. Yes. Is there an explanation for which this type of repertoire migrated not in Byzantine notation, but first in this Kievan notation, and afterwards we found in some 19th century collections?
I worked on this topic.
Yeah.
It's still not published, so I can't say everything that I found. But I can say that Pripeli of Philophy, the monk of Kozia monastery, really they are written down in Ukrainian manuscripts from the early 17th century in Kievan staff notation and under the rubric Bulgarian chant.
That's very interesting. You know, that was quite a debate at the middle of the 20th century between the Bulgarian musicologist and our beloved musicologist, Moises and Gheorghe Choban, and others, especially Choban, yes. And Professor Moises also has a study about Putna, and not necessarily about these issues, but that's very interesting that is defined as Bulgarian chant.
That's why I believe that the repertoire that Yevgeniya written down in Putna musical manuscripts, you know, this first, it's very interesting because Slavonic language repertoire, as I see, only Yevgeniya has a big amount of chants in Slavonic language. And so maybe in our lands it was treated as Bulgarian chant. Because we see this in Troparia Anastasimov Yevgeniya is under rubric Bulgarian chant. Also in the Pripela, it's Bulgarian chant. We believe that it's Bulgarian chant, not Philophy.
You have in your mind the possibility to interpretation by this notation given
Yes, now I'm in process of the.
I translated at some point for Father Bell this type of chant, and it's very similar to what we are chanting today. It's very similar. Yeah.
Yes.
Supraster, for example, is online. It's available online. Yes, I have it. Yeah, long time. Yeah, I was shocked to see that even the Epitafius Prenoschi is in Supraster, in another version, but somehow similar to the constant, some Politan versions of 14th and 15th 18th century. So it has quite an amount of repertoires, fine repertoires.
I remember that David Panza said that this Filontei have a modern that defined that we have. He published a paper in IS Museum.
Well, I would be interested if you, what this, I didn't read this research, unfortunately.
I think
Thank you very much. It's very
if